Good morning, and I hope you are having a blessed Holy Week. Today is Thursday, and we will be looking at Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. Jesus brought his disciples to have the last occasion of fellowship with them. He brought them to share with them his anxiety, his being nervous about what is ahead of him, to share with them his intimate feelings. You know, I remember when I left Latakia, my hometown in Syria, to study in Germany, and I was a youth minister, and the youth group was about 70, 80 people, young men and women. I remember so vividly the last night. They came all to our house in Latakia, and we sat on the roof and we had dinner. It was a dinner that I wanted to share with them, to say how much I appreciated the ministry among them, and also to share my love for them, and to express how much they mean to me. This is, in the Middle East, something we do without thinking. And Jesus brought his disciples together in order to share with them some intimate moments, even with the one who would betray him later. Today we remember this extraordinary act of selfless love that Jesus did. But why? Why was it so extraordinary? And why was it earth-shattering for the disciples, especially Peter? Let's hear a little bit about the story according to John. The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." "No," said Peter, "you shall never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." "Then, Lord," Simon Peter replied, "not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Jesus answered, "Those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean, and you are clean, though not every one of you." For he knew who was going to betray him, and that was why he said not everyone was clean. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. What a crazy act. Why did he do that? Well, we understand more this incredible act when we understand the context of the Middle East concerning feet. In the time of Jesus and in our time after 2000 years, feet in the Near East are considered unclean, to the extent that in the Middle East, if you sit, you do not show the sole of your shoes. So if you want to cross legs, you can do that, but keep your sole down to face the ground, not up to face anybody's face. This is a no in the Near East, which is the opposite in the West. In the West, it's absolutely fine, whoever is sitting in front of you, to cross your legs, and one foot will be in the face of everybody. In the Near East, that would have been no. This is extremely insulting. In the time of Christ, you wouldn't even ask a Jewish slave to wash your feet. Even a Jewish slave you cannot ask, because this is unacceptable. You may ask a Gentile slave, but not a Jewish slave. This is extremely serious. Nobody would accept to wash your feet. And even still in the Near East and in the Middle East in general, if you want to mention the word foot or feet or shoes, you need to apologize before you say the word. So I would say, I went and bought a pair of shoes. So I would say, excuse me, because even the mentioning of the word would be impolite. If I was sitting, crossing my legs, and my foot is just above the ground, and somebody older than me, like if my mother entered the room, I would immediately uncross my legs. Well, it's extremely culturally sensitive. So, for the master himself to get up and leave dinner and take off his outer clothing and put a towel around his waist. And remember, I mean, St. John, the evangelist, the theologian, the philosopher, who flies with us in every sentence he writes. Suddenly he becomes like a school student, writing what happened. He did this and that, and after he got up of the meal, he put off his outer clothing. He wrapped himself with the towel, and he started washing their feet. And the detailed conversation with Peter. This is like someone observing something absolutely shocked him, and he wanted to record it in details. And of course, Peter said to the Lord, "No way! You are touching my feet and washing my feet and cleaning my feet and drying my feet with a towel around your waist? What on earth is happening? No way." Jesus was calm because he knew, he was aware about the sensitivity of the situation. Well, I'm sure the disciples were gobsmacked, and they were looking, watching, following in disbelief what is unfolding in front of them. They were asking themselves, is that true? What on earth is he doing? So Peter, being Peter, we know how Peter was, impulsive, passionate. Whenever he speaks, he put his foot in his mouth. So he said, no, you're not doing that. And Jesus said, listen, if I don't wash you, you have no part in me. What does that mean? It means he is offering them an act, an extraordinary act that would unite them forever and prepare them for what to come, what is coming ahead. He was preparing them for the cross. As Peter and the rest of the disciples didn't know what is happening. If you remember Mark chapter 8, I keep referring to Mark chapter 8 in all this Lent because it's an amazing chapter. Jesus started teaching them about Easter, that he must die and rise again. He started teaching them the mind of Easter. But what did Peter do? Peter jumped and took Jesus in front of Jesus, took him and rebuked Jesus and said, "What are you talking about? You will not die. We will not allow that to happen. This is not how things should be. You're not going to die. And if we need, we will die with you." Well, definitely. Well, was he sincere? Yes. Was it right what he said? No. Because he did not trust the words and the teaching of the Lord. And he jumped and tried to stop Jesus for what and change the course of the life of Jesus. And Jesus said to him, "Stay behind me, Satan." This is very strong rebuke to Peter, reminding him to trust his teaching. And then said Jesus, "Peter, you're not going to do anything, and you are not going to die with me. You will betray me. You will deny me 3 times before the rooster crows 2 times." And of course, Peter was very annoyed, but still the penny did not drop. When he told him that, he didn't understand to trust the Lord, because those teachings were so unbelievable that Jesus, the Master, and everybody was preparing for the Master to be the king, to be a huge leader, to end on the cross. They didn't want to believe that. And then they as this was unfolding, the disciples were fighting who is greater among them. And then Jesus said, "I didn't come to serve. I didn't come to be served. I came to serve and put my life for many." What are you doing? If you want to defend yourself and feel you are important and great, you will lose it eternally, because you will only gain your ego. If you want really to win your life eternally, you must lose it in service. In this selfless act of washing of the feet, Jesus was reminding the disciples, and Peter specifically, of what happened on the way to Jerusalem, and saying to Peter, "You remember, Peter? I offered you the way to gain your life eternally. And this is again what I am doing. I am preparing you for that. I am preparing you for what is coming. Trust me." And Peter, no. He said, okay. We will do, let's compromise. Let's compromise. You wash my feet, but you wash my hands and head. Well, that will break the taboo a little bit. So my hands, which is very casual, okay, and my head, which is the most honorable part of the body at that time. So he would include or would dilute, as if you are having a delicious espresso and you want to offer it to someone, and this someone says, "Well, thank you very much, yes, but that's too much for me. I can't accept this generosity. Let's put a glass of cold water on it and share it." It's gone. The offer is gone. The coffee is gone. The whole thing is spoiled, Peter. What are you talking about? But Peter wanted to convince the master that this is a middle way between you and me. Not only my feet, but also my hands and my head. What do you think? Peter, do you remember when Jesus, I would say, in the mind of Jesus, Peter, don't you still remember when we were at the banquet with Simon the Pharisee, and when the sinner, this amazing woman who came in and came from behind and reached my feet and covered them with her tears and perfume and dried them with her hair. This act of selflessness to share with me her faith and love. Let me share this love with you. My teacher and wonderful Dr. Kenneth Bailey, he says, Jesus offered a costly demonstration of unexpected love. It's a beautiful sentence from Dr. Bailey. He says he offered a costly demonstration, very humiliating gesture, costly demonstration of unexpected love, which shocked the disciples. And this offer is still, we understand it as a gesture and offer to unite himself with the disciples. Yes, I'm going to go to your feet, the dirty part of you, and serve you and beg you to love one another as I love you now, and I'm expressing that love. This costly, unexpected love that started in the passion of this amazing gesture in the context of the Last Supper, which Jesus invented, in order to give us today, after 2,000 years, this understanding of intimacy, this understanding of how to offer ourselves to the world. This selfless act remains for the church as the vision how to be Christ-like in the world. This costly, unexpected love that we offer the world was maximized on the cross. This costly, selfless act continued from the Last Supper, washing of the feet, to Gethsemane, and Jesus trying to say to the disciples, wake up, the flesh is weak, which means we are too attached to our lives. We are too much attached to the world. But the Spirit is willing to lift us. So he humbled himself to give them a vision of ministry. And the question, of course, today, are we carrying that vision? Are we following that vision in the church? Are we the church that wraps the towel around our waist and make our hands dirty in the world, reflecting the image of Christ? Offering the costly, unexpected love to the world. Offering the image that we are his body. We are his hands and feet and eyes and ears and mouth and tongue. When we speak, do we speak the message of peace? When we walk, do we walk the walk of ministry? Do we do the actions of love in the name of Him who humbled Himself and knelt down at the feet of His disciples and washed their feet? This act that we take for granted today, and we see a lot of leaders around the world, including priests, and who try to enact or repeat the act of that, to wash some clean feet of their parishioners. This is not what He wanted. He wanted to say to the church, are you doing that in your ministry? Are you kneeling down at the feet of the society and offering the intimacy of Jesus Christ, the love of Jesus Christ? Are we showing the world the way? The cross was harsh, hard on Jesus, the innocent, who humbled Himself, as St. Paul says, and died and obeyed. Obeyed. Are we obeying? Or are we jumping in front of Jesus and say, look, you do it our way? When we want to follow Jesus, He said, deny yourself, pick your cross, and follow me. He said to Peter and the disciples, He said to Peter, deny yourself. What did Peter do? He denied Jesus instead of denying himself. Pick up your cross in a sense of don't defend yourself. If it comes to choose either me or Jesus, would I choose Jesus or would I choose me? Peter chose himself. And follow me, it means be behind me. Follow my steps. Instead of rebuking me, Peter. We are Peter in the church. We are Peter before the cross. Let's face it. We have a long way to understand this selfless, unexpected, costly love. The church should not be a charity, should not be NGO, helps people and gives some humanitarian work and food bank, and this is selfless. It means the church would put everything to the service of the community on every level, from the food bank to the parliament and to the prime minister, the whole society. Are we being the prophetic voice? Are we being the image of Christ? Are we being selfless? This is the vision. To wrap the towel around the waist and serve. Because we are here not to be served, but to serve and put ourselves for many. May the Lord in this Holy Week open our hearts and minds to His vision, so that we learn intimacy, humility, and service. Have a blessed Holy Week and glorious Easter, my friends. Amen.